Hello, everybody. It's Watachi. I keep promising or keep telling you I'm going to tell you the sunburn story in Mexico. I moved when I first moved to Florida or Arizona. I moved from Florida to Arizona, West Palm Beach, Florida, which was that's not the southern tip, but it's the southern half of Florida anyway. And when I was in Florida, I spent so much time on the beach. We used to boogie board. I couldn't stand up on a surfboard. People, hell, I had a hard enough time trying to just sit on the damn thing. My balance, I guess, I don't know how people stood up on them, but I could ride. I'd take a boogie board. I'd ride that sucker just as good as they rode them damn surfboards, or just as fast anyway. And but I spent a lot of time on the beach and deep sea fishing and shit down in Florida. And I was dark, man. I'm dark. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is just my farmer tan from being around here. But when I was in Florida and Arizona, I was dark like that all over, especially Arizona. But and I think it was about 1985 or 86, if I'm remembering right, was when I moved to Arizona. Uh, that's another story. But getting there. Anyway, I ain't got time for that. But anyway, I got myself to Arizona and started meeting people and stuff, and got to running around with these guys that they owned. They owned garages and tow companies where they tow truck drivers. They hauled everything from big rigs to pulling you out of the ditch stuff, you know. But they had money, and these guys talked me into going down to Cholla Bay, Rocky Point area for a deep sea fishing derby. They had a derby down there every Memorial weekend. It was a 2 week fishing derby, and this guy I know he'd been going down there for years, and he owned 2 cabins. He had 2 or 3 big boats down there. He was so well known that he even this little town of Cholla Bay, he brought him down a fire truck that he bought at an auction and fixed it up, made it work and everything. We went down there with him when he took it down to and gave it to him. But anyway, they talked me into going down there for this derby. We were going to be down there for 5 days of the derby, the last 5 days, and I was like, cool, let's do it, man. And they said they was telling me, look, I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico or not, but you're gonna want to bring long pants. You're gonna want to bring long sleeve shirts, hat, big hat, stuff. And I was like, oh yeah. I said, man, I've been living out in Florida, living on that beach out there, man. I can take any of that sun. I ain't worried about that damn sun. And I didn't like to wear hats back then when I was younger. So I wouldn't wear a damn hat. And so here I showed up, man. I've got short sleeve shirts and shorts, regular shorts and flip flops, and that's it. These guys are like, man, we told you needed to bring that shit. And I'm like, man, I'll be all right. And was I wrong? People, we went out the first day of a 5 day trip. We go out on his boat, and now these boats, they were sitting on their trailers at the cabin, and there wasn't no phones down there, and this was before cell phones, before we all had cell phones. But what they did is they had CBs in the cabins, and we would call down to the bay. They had these vehicles that were lifted up. The motor and the car, the person that drove it was off about 20 feet off the ground. But the wheels were down, the wheels were on the ground, of course. That's the stupidest thing I ever said. The wheels were on the ground. Where was I? Oh, anyway, we got on his radio and we radioed and told him we got 2 boats and we're wanting to go out. And all we did was put our shit in the boat and get in the boat. They come up and hook up to the boat with these vehicles that they've got. They made them. But then they hook up to them and then they drive you around, take you down into Cholla Bay, right down in the water. And they drive you out far enough with this car thing they got, and to where all you have to do is they unhook your boat. All you do is fire up the motor and just drive off, and they take your trailer back up, and park it on the bank. And then when you come back in, you radio them from the boat, and they bring your damn trailer back out, and you just pull it back up on your trailer. They lock it down, take you back to your cabin. You don't even have to get out. And but there we're going. We call them, tell them to come get us. We got 2 boats going out, and I'm getting in. These guys got long sleeve shirts, these big old floppy hats, man, and shit. And but they were Mexican, so they knew how to do it. I should have listened to their asses, but I thought I knew everything. Hell, I got in there like I am. Like just short sleeve shirt, shorts, and flip flops, man. Now we went out. We'd go out to this reef, and we had hand lines that we fished with, and they were basically it's bigger than a weed eater line, a lot bigger than a weed eater line. But we had a piece of wood that was cut like an H, and then we'd take these hand lines and wrap them around those boards, and they had handles on both sides so you could hold that damn thing, And that was basically your reel. You would reel it in on that, reel your line in on that thing. But we had some big old hooks, people. There was, this big, and we were running squid on them and fishing for grouper and shit. And hell, I'm out there. It's sun, just hotter than hell. It probably, I'd have to say about 120. We're out on the ocean. We were at least 25 miles out. You couldn't see land anywhere. Hell, I'm getting hot. We're drinking beer and shit, fishing. I'm getting hot, so I ripped my shirt off, jump in, kick my flip-flop off, jump in the water. I'm swimming around. Oh, yeah, man, them guys are all covered up, long sleeve shirts on, shit, and they're looking at me going, shaking their head. And I'm having a good old time. That was going to change real quick. By the time the day was over, man, I was bright red. Everything bright red. Or by the time we were done fishing anyway. And by that time, I've got my shirt on. I'm trying to keep the sun from hitting me anywhere. I got my towel wrapped around me in places, trying to cover my head. Shit. I'm so burnt up. And I didn't realize how bad it was going to be. But we got back to the cabin. And man, I am burnt from head to toe. I mean, I'm serious. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't lay down. I was hurting. And I brought a half a gallon of vodka. We brought all of our own beer and liquor and shit with us, but I brought a half a gallon of vodka. Some other guys brought Jack Daniels and shit, and I couldn't drink none of that. So I sat down. The only place I wasn't sunburnt, folks, was where my sunglasses were on my face. But everywhere else, man, I had third-degree burns, blisters all across my forehead, all down my cheeks, my shoulders, my back, my arms, everywhere. I was burnt, buddy. I mean, blistered. First day. I sat at that table. Now, what I ended up doing, I ended up drinking a lot of that vodka. I think about 3/4 of it. But I realized that because of my sunglasses, my eye wasn't sunburnt. The palms of my hand were not sunburnt. My elbows were not sunburnt for some reason. And there was about that much of my ass where my shorts had covered it that was not sunburnt. So I pulled a chair out at this table to where I had it out far enough to where I was just sitting at the edge of the chair where I was sitting on what I wasn't sunburnt on. I'm sitting there like that, doing shots, just trying to get enough in me that I could go lay down and go to sleep. The first night into this 5-day vacation, man, I'm slamming them damn things, and finally, I end up falling asleep, folks. I put the palm of my hand right here on my eye like that, my elbow on the table, and I was drunker and shit, and I fell asleep like that, man, sitting in that chair at that table. Now let me describe this cabin to you. It was a 2-bedroom cabin with 1 bath in it. Had a tank up on top of this cabin that catches rainwater. Now this rainwater, after it's caught in this tank that sits up on top of this roof that is sitting in about 120 degree temperature all day long, it uses basically what you guys call gravity to pull it through the pipes. There is no pressure coming out of it. The shower, it feels like if you get in under the shower, it just feels like somebody's peeing on you. Basically what it feels like. And there is no cold water. It's only whatever the temperature it is coming out of that damn tank. There was no air conditioning at all. At all. And they wasn't going to let me sit in that damn truck with an air conditioner in there the whole weekend, or 5 days. So, people, I wake up the next morning hung over like you would not believe. And I'm still sitting at this table like this, and I'm waking up going, and I pull my hand off my eye it's so dried out from my hand absorbing all the water and shit out of my eye all night. It sucked so my eye was just all fucked up. Hungover, remember. And I touched my head and I just feel the blisters all across. And that's when I realized how bad I was blistered. And I got up and I walked in, looked into the mirror, and I'm looking at my arms, my back, and my eyes blistered head to toe, man. I look at these guys, man, they're getting ready to load up and go back out. I'm like, man, I gotta go home, man. I gotta go home. Look at me. Look, I could die. These guys looked at me and said, man, we told you to bring this shit. You didn't bring it. Well, you're not fucking up our vacation. So lay your ass down, deal with it. And I did for 5 fucking days, folks. I dealt with being blistered like that. And ended up, that was it. That was the first time I went. The next time I went back, I went about 6 years in a row with them down there. And for that same derby. But I had the right stuff the next time. Now, one of the other times we went down, this guy that had all this money and had them cabins and shit, his boat, and this guy hooks into about an 8-foot shark. It's a great white. I guess it was. That's what they said it was. I don't know. I never mess with no sharks. But he got this thing hooked, and he wanted to keep it. He wanted to definitely get a picture of him with it. He was about my size, about 5'7", about 180 pounds. He had some muscle to him. And he wanted to get a picture of himself with it. Plus, he wanted to eat it. He said them guys were saying that the shark meat was good meat. And he got this damn hook, or he got this damn shark hook, and he dragged it. We got it all the way up next to the boat, and we had a slam stick, or he had one, and you'd slam it in the side of one of these fish, and it would shoot a 22 shell into the fucking fish. Now, he gets it up there, he gets that shark up there, and he starts smacking him with that thing in the head. He's trying to kill that shark. He wants to get it out of the water. Well, they're smacking it with that thing, and he had a big old gaff hook. He starts gaffing that sucker with just big holes, putting a big chunk of it, stabbing the shit out of him. And we start dragging his ass and shit, and we drug him around for a long time. And they finally, he's going, man, we got to get him in the boat. Get him in the boat and then go back to the bank. And I'm like, man, let's just drag him the fuck out. Let's just leave him out there, drag him all the way back in, and let them deal with him in the bay and see if he's still alive. Because they'll take him and cut him up and feed him to us, you wouldn't even have to touch it. And he's like, no, man, we need to get him in the boat. What if the line breaks or whatever, it doesn't hold him, and I lose him? I'm like, man, he ain't dead. Them sharks are hard to kill. And I keep telling him, man, and he's still smacking it with that, shooting 22s into it and shit. And that thing ain't moving, man. It's dead. It's dead. Well, this fucking boat, you could only be in about 2/3 of it. The whole front part of it, you couldn't be in. It was covered. It had a covered hull on it. And, so these guys decide the damn shark's coming in the boat with us. I'm standing up by the hull. They drag that damn thing into the boat. This thing starts jerking his tail's fly. He's mouth open. He ain't dead, just like I told him. By this time, this guy's grabbed the damn bang stick again, and he starts smacking this damn shark with this bang stick. The other guy cutting him and gaffing him and shit right in the butt. Well, I noticed that there's little holes starting to show up in the bottom of the boat where these bullets are going clear through the damn, because he's not hitting it solid in the middle anywhere. He's hitting it off side, and these bullets are going through the bottom of the boat. By this time, I'm standing up on the windshield, folks. I ain't shitting you. There wasn't nowhere else to get, and I couldn't stand on the way the hull was. I couldn't actually stand on the hull, but I had a hold of the top of the damn windshield, and my feet on the other side, standing up on that windshield, get away from that damn shark. I figured if he got done eating, he wouldn't need to eat me. I'll help him get out of the boat. He eats the rest of it. I think we could have come up with a deal, I'm sure. But they finally got this thing killed inside the boat. And we take it all the way back. And this guy stands up. He gets this thing by the gills. And he has to hold it up like this. And he's got it by the gills. And he's not really holding all of the weight. Some of it's being held behind him. But it comes down and around his back, and the tail comes around out in front of him, and he gets this picture of him with this shark he caught, and then they come over and take that damn shark, man. But at the end of the day, everything that's caught for the Derby, they had chefs over there waiting for it to come in. They're cutting that shit up, putting all kinds of shit with it. They do a big fish fry, free fish fry for everybody in the Derby. Everything that was caught, it's killer, man, killer. Plus you got free shrimp coming in right off the shrimp boats right there, man. You can get, I think we were paying like $5 for a 25-pound bag of these big blue shrimp, coming right off the boat. So we ate good while we were down there. Never had that problem with the sun burning again, though. But that's my two stories about that. You guys, you have a good one out there. Make no mistake, God loves you, and so do I. And the only way out of this is through Jesus Christ. Please knock on that door. I love you.